live recording right now. It is 8 p.m. Monday night, July 28th, Big 12 preview time. If you missed the ACC preview or if you're watching this and all the other previews are out, go check them all out on the YouTube channel and everything. Great stuff from the ACC preview. We did a deep dive. It was a long preview on that one. Go check it out. A lot of good stuff in there. Dylan, Connor, great to see you guys, man. Football. We're getting a little closer to football. We got a little football on this Thursday. NFL.
I thought the ACC preview was absolutely fantastic. You know, Carter, we've got some deeply rooted ACC ties, and yeah, went longer than I thought we would. Loved talking that power conference this year.
And if you're listening, we had about 45 minutes on Frank Reich and the Stanford Cardinal.
Andrew Luck. Captain Andrew Luck.
That might have gotten cut.
That definitely got cut, and there's about 30 seconds on them. But Dylan, good to see you.
It's good to see you guys as well. ACC preview, great. Obviously, go check it out. Football conference now, because I've heard rumors like North Carolina's wanting to go to the SEC, but they might not be good enough in basketball. They might not be a good enough basketball team to go compete in the SEC. Just rumors that I've heard. I do want to let you guys know. Big 12 preview. I'm on steroids right now. This is going to be my best conference preview because I am on steroids. And we will look back and we will think of McGuire, Barry Bonds, home run chase in the 90s, 98, 96, whatever it was.
Lance Armstrong.
The 2025 Big 12 conference preview is going to be synonymous with that from myself.
Adderall?
I am literally on steroids. I have tendonitis, and I went to the doctor this morning, and I got prednisone. So,
I'm
just letting you know when I pull out this Nicholas Kurtz 6-for-6 4-home run rookie performance, baseball reference. We'll look back and we'll say that was the day Dylan was on steroids.
We need somebody to do like a word count for Dylan. Like words per minute with him on steroids is probably like doubled. You're going to be on.
What can I say? I'm all beefed up here. I can't feel my foot.
All right, well, let's get into it. Big 12 time. The Big 12, I don't know how you guys felt doing your research and your prep for all this, but this is a crapshoot. I mean, you could literally tell me anything. If you walked in here and said, West Virginia's winning the conference, I'd be like, I mean, no, but I can't say 100% no. I mean, there is no rhyme or reason to this. And we'll get into it, Dylan. Just relax.
I'll help you out, Carter. No.
Okay.
That's how you say no. No.
You're confident. You're confident that someone's going to win this conference.
Here's what I will say. One thing about Big 12 football. They will definitely play games, and I would say each team is probably going to play 12 of them, and then there will be 2 teams that play 13 at least. And there will be games on Saturdays and probably sometimes Fridays. That's what I will say about the Big 12.
That was the most... Oh, well, you forgot Mondays. Wow.
They play on Mondays?
Mm-hmm. TCU and Carolina.
They may have some on Mondays, and they will play overseas.
Right. This conference leads all other conferences in this sport in one-score game rate. 42.32% of these games are one-score games in this conference. Every game feels tight in this conference.
And that's not surprising, honestly. You look at the win totals, it's a bunch of 8.5, 7.5, 6.5. Some are juiced, some aren't juiced. It's just a big, I don't know the right word, kerfuffle, cluster F, perhaps? I'm not sure what the right word I'm looking for is.
Yeah. Definitely would not have went kerfuffle.
Because, I mean, the highest win total in this conference, 8.5. The lowest is 5.5.
I think that's right, yeah.
There's like 6 teams in each of those categories. It is so jumbled. It is so bundled up. But the other thing we need to talk about before we get into each teams and all this stuff about the preview is, Connor, the Big 12 not sending out a media poll, a preseason media poll, is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. People who go, oh, we need to abolish the AP poll. This is stupid. It doesn't matter. We're going to end up playing the games anyways. Why does it matter if we can predict these teams and everything? Everyone's going, oh, well, the media picked Arizona State to finish last. I was one of those media members that picked Arizona State to finish last year in my preseason poll.
Accountability.
And guess what? Who cares? None of it matters. It actually makes for a better story. So I don't understand why you get rid of preseason polls in this conference. I think it's fun to talk about.
I'll be honest, it's soft. It's soft is what it is. Like, you want these preseason polls, so what if they're wrong? It creates more storylines. It creates more underdogs. You know, you want to write on the bulletin board. We were picked 12th in the Big 12 Conference. We were picked last in the Big 12 Conference. that motivates teams. So be it if it's dead wrong. It's not like we're sitting here bashing the Big 12 media members for being like, oh, you picked Arizona State last. It was more of a positive thing. Like, they were picked last. Look at them winning the conference. What a great storyline. I think it's soft and it's no fun. College football is all about fun. That's no fun.
Makes no sense. Let's just talk about it. I don't get it. Dylan, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, the woke liberal media wins again here. I'm not sure why we're not doing preseason polls. What does somebody hurt their little feelings? Well, Whittingham got his little feelings hurt because of preseason poll. Like, it's you do it. It doesn't mean anything. Whittingham. Who's Arizona State? Dillingham, right?
Yep.
That's going to come back and bite me in the butt. Who cares about the polls? Mean nothing. It's a way to occupy time. If someone got their feelings hurt because of like I've said before, people just want to be miserable. The Sun Devils want to complain. The 5 Sun Devil fans that there were last year, they just want to complain about something. So I am not well versed in the Big 12 sphere. I usually make enemies in the Big 12 sphere.
You're trying to make another one right now. Talking about Sun Devils fans.
Who we got as a Sun Devils fan?
No, you said all 5 fans of Arizona State. It just seems like you're, treading that line again.
Come at me. I don't care. This is the softest stuff. I think you're exactly right, Connor. The fact that it doesn't even matter is what gets me. It matters nothing. And if anything, like you said, it makes a better story when a team like Arizona State makes a run, makes the playoff. Like, yeah, we were voted last and we ended up doing this. It's good for the conference, and it's good for the new state of college football where we can make a claim that, NIL, X, Y, and Z is good because this team had such low expectations. Look what they did. So, soft move by the Big 12.
Yeah. Brings more attention to the conference. Yeah.
Would never happen in the Big 10.
No, never. Of course not. And
well,
on
actually, I stand corrected. Ryan Day would cause that to happen.
Top heavy Big 10. You have like 2 good teams, and then those 2-3 good teams end up making the rest of the conference look good. But let's not pretend Northwestern, Rutgers, they're doing anything.
I don't think they are, but at least we're men and we vote for it. That
That's
might
fair.
be a directive coming down from Wexner. I don't know.
Wexner. A couple generic stats I wanted to get off. The Big 12, yeah, it's a big jumble, but there's a lot of talented teams in here. 8 of the top 22 teams in returning production are in the Big 12 nationally. 8 of the top 22. 7 teams return at least 145 of last year's starts, and then 5 teams have brought in 125 or more FBS starts from somewhere else. So there's a lot of good numbers here. Those are from Bill Connolly at ESPN. Thought that was pretty helpful. I think there's a lot of talent in this conference.
Sounds like the dog in the background loves returning production in the Big 12.
He does. He likes the returning production. He heard me say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to get into this. Start off. Arizona State.
Are we doing Dion are we talking about Colorado?
We can talk. I was going to talk about it when we talk about Colorado.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry
All
to
right.
cut that up.
That's fine. Arizona State win total 8.5. They are the most hyped team in this conference right now coming into this season. They are plus 600 depending on where you're looking at to win this conference again. Cam Baughan, Sam Levitt, they rank second in the country right now in returning production, according to that same article Connor just read off as well. Connor, Arizona State, how do we feel about the Sun Devils?
Yeah, I mean, they're rightfully...
Bad start.
Sorry, the throat got a
The
little
Sun
fogged
Devils
there.
are infiltrating this podcast.
I saved y'all, though. I had to mute myself. They're rightfully at the top of the conference. Win total's 8.5. It's a little bit juiced to the under. Plus 650 to win the conference. You lose Cam Scatterbo, that's 2,300 plus total yards of offense that you lose. And I get it. People are like, running back's the easiest position to replace, and they still got Sam Levitt, yada, yada, this and that. Jordan Tyson's back. He had 1,100 yards. All that's great. 4 O-line starters return. But here's the thing. I think Sam Levitt, a lot of his success was due to the presence of Cam Scatterbo in that backfield, in that run game. And being able to lean heavily and rely heavily on that presence there opened up a lot for a guy like Sam Levitt. And look, in 2024, he was great. 350 pass attempts, only 5 turnover-worthy plays. He wasn't asked to do a ton. I'll be honest. He wasn't asked to do a ton. And I credit Cam Scatterbo for that. I see more turnovers for Sam Levitt this year than last year, and I think they're going to regress a lot more to why they were picked last in the poll last year. I'm under on Arizona State. I'm out on Arizona State, and if for nothing else, it's the fact that it's the Big 12, and a team like that's not going to finish at the top twice. So I'm out on Arizona State, under 8.5. I'm going to say probably 7-5 record for the Sun Devils. Sorry, guys.
Let me jump in here, Dylan. Let me jump in here because
I'll tag you in, Carter. There we go.
Because I got to jump on here because Connor, that is one of the most correct takes you've had because I am 100% out on this Arizona Sun Devils team as well. Sam Levitt kind of got carried by Cam Scadaboo last season. I mean, you look at the games where they played tougher defenses, Cam Scadaboo was the only reason they were in those games. Sam Levitt, I don't trust him without him. Now, you can say you look at the college football playoff game, the Big 12 title game, and they didn't have their top receiver in Tyson. Look, I get that. I understand that. But you go through the Big 12 schedule, and the teams they played against tougher defenses, Levitt wasn't this wonderful quarterback all of a sudden. Cam Scadaboo was dropping 200 yards on some of these teams in these games. So I think that matters a lot. I don't believe in him. I also think, I know you said the turnover-worthy plays thing. When I watched him, I didn't feel confident when he threw the ball, to be honest. I know he had it going on in the Iowa State game and the Big 12 title game. I don't care. Iowa State was on their sixth-string linebackers. Might as well have been playing walk-ons at that point. I'm out on Arizona State. This goes back to my NC State point. You have to be weary of the hype team coming into the Big 12 every season. The team that everyone is just, this is a shoe-in. They're going to be awesome this season. I get scared of those teams with the Big 12. Last season, it was Utah. It was Kansas State. Meh seasons, especially out of Utah. I feel the same way about Arizona State going into this season.
I want to say I agree with a couple points you guys made. I think in the Big 12, you have a team that had so much success last year. The odds that they replicate that just from purely the standpoint of you have a lot of teams that are up there at the 8.5 win total. They're good teams, not great teams that could steal wins here and there. I think that's a fine point. But this Sam Levitt stuff, being a Cam Scadaboo merchant, I don't think holds any ground. And I'll give you two reasons. I'll give you more than two reasons why. You have Kanye Udoh coming in from Army, who's an over 1,000-yard rusher, 10 touchdowns in 2024, on a team where they know they're going to be running the ball. So I think those stats...
You're also getting it a heck of a lot more.
What do you... At Army?
Yes, you're guaranteed a billion carries.
Sure, that's more than fair. You want to say that about the aggregate stats? That's fine. I still think that this is a good replacement for Scadaboo. He's not going to be able to replicate Scadaboo's output. I agree with that 100%. But it's not like you're bringing in some homeless man off the street and saying, hey, fill this guy's shoes. This guy has the stats and the PFF grade, to be completely honest, to fill the shoes that Scadaboo left. Sam Levitt, 90 PFF rating, like you said, less than 1% turnover-worthy play rate last season. You want to switch that to deep passes, passes of 20 or more air yards. That's a 2% turnover-worthy play rate and an 87 PFF rating. Sam Levitt is a very good quarterback, and you're looking at a team that, like you guys have already said, is returning so much production offensively, returning the most players. I understand we say production, that could attach a value to the players. Returning the most players in college football. You have Dillingham, who comes in last year and just gets the boys riled up. This is a team, it would not surprise me if we have Arizona State in national championship conversations.
Stop.
That
would surprise me.
Returning 4 of the 5 offensive line starters from last year on a top 20 offensive line, I really don't think we're going to see that big of a drop-off. The one caveat I have with Arizona State is that the defense wasn't great, and they did not do a lot to fix that. A lot of them are returners from last year, like we said, with all the returning production. You could say maybe things get a little bit more cohesive on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe it's more of the same, but I think offensively this team is really not going to skip a beat missing Scadaboo. The offensive line is very strong.
That's crazy. That's absurd.
I think Sam Levitt is probably a top 5 or 7 quarterback in college football. I think this team is going to be very good this year. My front runner to win the conference.
Can I go real quick? 180 yards per game of total offense you're getting from Cam Scadaboo that's gone. Plus, what's the way Arizona State played last year? How did they win? Time of possessions. They were, I think, top 20 in time of possession in the NCAA last year. Ground and pound, held the ball, time of possessions, controlled the pace, dictated the pace of the game. I don't think they're going to be able to do that this year. Even with the 4 or 5 offensive line starters returning, I don't see them being able to play that same way. So unless they reinvent themselves and they still don't turn the ball over by throwing it more, which I don't think is going to happen, I don't see it. And I'll be honest, I would be stunned if they're in the national championship. That would absolutely shock me.
I would be stunned if they won a playoff game.
It sounds like you would be stunned if they made the playoffs at all. The way you
Stunned's a
guys are
strong
talking
word.
about it.
Not stunned, but surprised. Caught off guard, perhaps.
What if this is a situation, right? And I'm not taking away from what Scottaboo did in his time in Arizona State. Not saying that at all.
I think you are, though.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, what if the offensive line helps for that? What if the offensive line helps there?
Okay, but not just that. Also, Scottaboo makes Sam Levitt's job a heck of a lot easier when you have that run presence, and then all of a sudden that's gone. That is a huge hole in this team. He was disgusting for them last season. Connor's read off the stat twice now. 180 yards of production per game. And also, it wasn't like Scottaboo was bad in these big games. He was the one stepping up in these big-time games. Against Texas, he had 143 yards on the ground, 99 yards receiving in this game. Sam Levitt, 24-46, 222 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception.
A couple 50, 60-yard games in there thrown in from Scottaboo. Let's not forget. Let's not just remember the 200-yard games. But what I'm saying is that this could be an offensive line thing more than it's just a Scottaboo thing. You take a good offensive line, you replace Scottaboo with a serviceable to good running back. I don't think that this changes the game plan for Arizona State that much. Offensively, I don't think there are any holes. I do think there are holes on defense. That worries me a little bit. But offensively, I think it's theirs. I think Sam Levitt is a good to great quarterback. You fill a hole a little bit left by Cam Scottaboo. I think it's going to be fine. Top offensive line. And this is the same conversation we had with Boston College last year. It was an offensive line play.
I will go on record and say there is a 0% chance the Arizona State Sun Devils, 1, win the national title, and 2, play in the national title game. Because also, you go back to last season, who are the top 3 defenses they played against last year? Texas, Utah, and probably BYU at that point. So let's go look at those games real quick. Sam Levitt, BYU, 16 of 25, 247, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Scottaboo, 147 on the ground, 3 touchdowns in that game. Sam Levitt, not a great game right there. Okay, let's keep going. We have I guess you could say Mississippi State too, but let's go Utah. It's not pulling up for me. There we go. Sam Levitt against Utah, 11 of 18, 154 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Well, how did Scottaboo do? 22 carries, 158 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. And then I already read off the Texas stats. In these bigger games, they relied on Scottaboo. How am I supposed to trust Sam Levitt in this spot without his best player?
I don't want to foreshadow anything because we have a whole conference preview to go through. I want you to stop me when we get to a good defense, okay? Northern Arizona, Mississippi State, Texas State, Baylor, TCU, Utah.
Yes.
Okay, fair. Texas Tech. We don't know.
Yeah, that's a coin flip
TBD.
because there's about $20 million into that defense.
Houston.
Sneaky yes.
Iowa State. West Virginia.
Coin toss. No.
No.
Colorado.
No.
Arizona.
No.
Sounds like to me it doesn't matter how he did against good defenses because I have one solid defense and I have Karter. I have 2 A's. I have 2 A's for good defenses.
Utah?
I said 1 for sure. Utah, and then you
said
gave me
2 A's.
2 A. You gave me 2 A's. You gave me an A on what? Houston and Iowa State.
Okay. On top of that, if you're going to be in the national title conversation, you're going to have to play a good defense at that point.
Based on that, 1 good defense, it sounds like they're going to be in the conversation somewhere. Something that Connor was not as ready and willing to admit.
They're not going to be in the national title conversation. Even if let's say they win this conference, they're not anywhere near the national title conversation. They still have to win a playoff game and then win yet another playoff game, and then you're having to play against legitimate talent in the SEC or the Big Ten.
I think if Arizona State makes the playoffs, this is a win for me. This is a Dylan dub. Steroid game Dylan dub if they make the playoffs.
But not a full dub because you're saying national title conversation. If they make the semifinals, I'll concede.
What if they win 1 playoff game?
That's what I'm saying. If they make the semifinals, I'll concede.
Deal. I'll take that. I think this is a very good team. Not to foreshadow anything. I think it's you get the I'm blanking on the word. Continuity of bringing the whole team back together. I love what Dillingham's doing. I think this is a great team. you have 3 or 4 teams at the top here with 6, 7, 8 to 1 odds to win the conference. This is by far the favorite, in my opinion.
Just to put a bow on my opinion on this Sun Devils team, it's not even necessarily Cam Scatterbo the player. Now, I get it. On paper, they replaced a lot of his production with the Army guy, Udo, and a couple other guys. On paper, it looks like they replaced a lot of the production. It's just the play style. The way they were able to play with him last year and the way they were able to run him 25, 30 times a game up the middle and establish that run. And, part of that credit's on the offensive line. But it's more the play style and the way I don't think they're going to be able to play this year. And I just think the way they're going to play this year is going to be very much resemblant of why they were picked last year in the preseason.
They're going to have to rely on Sam Levitt more this season. This is a question
that's fair. Yes, that's fair.
I would, and I want to concede one point here too. Sam Levitt, kind of best with his legs. I like when he's moving.
But I agree.
Anyhow, let's move on. Should we go to the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas State, the Wildcats? They went 8-4 last season. Kind of a sneaky disappointment, even though 8-4 is not a bad year necessarily, but there was a lot of hype coming into the year. Avery Johnson was touted as this great quarterback coming into the year, and kind of disappointing, but once again, it's just a fine season.
Were they the favorites last year? I'm fairly certain they were the favorites to win Big 12
They were tied with
year.
Utah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's fair. This Kansas State team, I forgot about Utah last year.
Utes.
Oh, that's so tough. This Kansas State team, when I was looking at everything, Avery Johnson, preseason all Big 12, 255 yards per game in 2024 in the air. Really wasn't super thrilled with what he did last year. You lose your sacks leader in Brendan Mott. You lose 4 of last year's top 5 secondary players. The defense is not going to be very good. I can't remember correctly. I don't know if it was very good last year in the first place. This is a Kansas State team. Me personally, I'm very middling on. I wish I could give you an opinion one way or another. Are they another one of those 8.5 win total teams?
Yes.
Yes, they are.
It feels like they shouldn't be in that conversation.
Shouldn't be.
No, I don't think
You're saying
so.
you're out on Kansas State?
I am indifferent. That's what I'll say. It's boring entertainment. I know. I'm indifferent on Kansas State.
Connor?
I'm a little more positive on Kansas State. I mean, Avery Johnson, the talent's there. His ground game's there. He ran for 600-plus yards last year and 7 rushing touchdowns. He's got the ground game in his game. DJ Giddens has gone running back, but Dylan Edwards is in. He had almost 200 rush yards in the bowl game for, whatever that counts for. I think he averaged like 7.5 yards per carry in his backup role last year. They had their leading receiver, Jace Brown, back, 17 yards per catch last year. Offensive line has a few transfers that'll sprinkle in. The defense is another thing. They had a good run defense last year. I think they were second in the Big 12, but that secondary is going to be weak, to say the least, on paper this year. So, this is another boring one. I'm a little higher than Dylan on this team. I think they deserve to be in the top of the Big 12 conversation. I have them penciled in at 9-3, but the stat I want to get off at Avery Johnson is he's got to cut down on mistakes. He's got to cut down on turnovers. And for the last couple of years, it's been, young talent, Avery Johnson, the talent flashes are there, but if you can ever get those turnovers under control, if you can ever start managing a game, this is the year to do that. This is the year where the rubber meets the road for Avery Johnson. Here's the stat I want to get off. 10 picks last year. He had 2 picks in 3 of their 4 losses. They were 0-4 versus FBS teams when they had at least 2 turnovers last year. 9-0 when they did not. So, there you go. I'm lukewarm on Kansas State, and it means nothing. Like, projections in this conference mean nothing, but 6 of the top 7 teams other than K-State are on their schedule. So,
yeah, Connor nailed it. It comes down to Avery Johnson, whether he can just limit the turnovers, limit the mistakes. And I don't know what the PFF turnover-worthy throws were, but it felt like it should have been very, very high for Avery Johnson last season. And it honestly felt like he should have had more turnovers than he actually had because his decision-making was honestly kind of pathetic in a lot of these games, especially against BYU. It was a disaster. On the road, he would struggle so much last season. I love him. I love his legs. I love him running the ball. I love Dylan Edwards. I think that's fine. I think DJ Giddens was great. Don't get me wrong, but look, it's Chris Kleiman. It's Kansas State. They're just going to turn over running backs. I trust that system. It's just a matter of can Avery Johnson limit the mistakes throwing the ball. That's what this comes down to. I know you talked about the secondary, Connor. I honestly feel about the same about most of these Big 12 defenses. There's a couple that are like genuinely bad, and then it's run of the mill for the most part for the rest of these teams.
It's like, oh, are these FCS transfers going to do anything? Are these low group of 5 transfers going to do anything?
It's like, oh, or this guy that came from Florida who was a third string, can he be a good linebacker for this team? Kind of feel the same about all these defenses, and it really comes down to, do you have a quarterback that can make clutch plays in this conference? Because you're going to play in so many tight games. You go through a lot of these team schedules, all of them played in like 6 to 7 one-score games, and the difference was Arizona State was 6-2 in one-score games, and other teams were 1-7 in one-score games. So Avery Johnson, you like to think he'd take the jump. This is a long-winded answer for them to say, 100% agree with you guys. 8-4, 9-3 feels perfect, and I think FanDuel nailed it.
Yeah, and the last stat about Kansas State, they were 9-0 last year when they scored 21 or more points. 0-4 when they didn't. So you speak to the defense being, if they can just be mediocre, that's a recipe for the offense to be at least above average, I think.
Yeah, and you go through Kleiman's time at Kansas State, 8-5 and 19, 4-6 and 20. COVID, who cares? Let's not count that. 8-5 and 21, 10-4 and 22, 9-4, 9-4. They're pretty consistent. 8-4, 8-4, 9-3 feels perfect. So, I think that's what we're all agreeing on. Let's move on. Let's go to Lubbock, Texas. There is a ridiculous amount of money being put into this roster. And Joey McGuire, this is a prove-it year for him. Are you kidding me? There is, if you guys have read the reports, I mean, it's $20 to $30 million being put into Texas Tech's roster, and they're not even the favorite in this league. And they don't even have that great of a quarterback coming in. I don't know what to expect of this team because so much around the quarterback is going to be different. It should be better. But you never know when all these guys are having to get overpaid to come to Lubbock, Texas, because a lot of these guys are getting paid 15, 20% over market value just to come to this school. And so are they just playing for the money? Do they actually even care? What kind of guys are you getting in the door? I think this is one of the biggest boomer bust teams in college football this year.
I've attempted to do some research on this team. I think what you said is exactly correct. It's the biggest boomer bust team because you don't know what you're going to get. You have no continuity. You go out and get all these transfers, good transfers at their core as pieces, but when the pieces come together as a whole, what are we going to get? Are we going to get a 10-win team? Are we going to get something much worse than a 10-win team? I hate to be the cop-out guy here, but I have on my sheet, Texas Tech Raiders. I have notable transfers in 3, 4, 5, 7 lines. 7 lines on a Google Doc of just notable transfers in. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Because of that, it's just to stay away from me. I'm not even going to try and predict it. And whenever I see them on other teams' schedules, I almost just play it as a toss-up. 50% of the teams are going to beat them. 50% of the teams are going to get beat by them. Because there's no way to predict what this team's going to do.
And also, is Micah Hudson playing? What's the deal with this guy?
Yes.
He's gone, returned, coming back. Apparently he's playing. But then I bet like game 2, and NIL check doesn't go through for some reason after they go 1-1, and all of a sudden he's transferred, hitting the portal midseason, and apparently I didn't think you could do that. It's crap like that I'm worried about with this Texas Tech team.
The used car dealership up the streets checked it and clear for the NIL commercial he was in, and
that's what I'm saying.
They had the second-ranked transfer class this year behind LSU, 13 4-stars. So like you said, Dylan, on paper, individually, a lot of talent coming in. How are they going to mesh? I think that's a fair question. Quarterback Baron Morton, average. I mean, quietly last year, 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 8 picks. That's a pretty good season for a Big 12 quarterback. I would say it's in the upper echelon of Big 12 quarterbacks. On paper, this is his best cast of supporting weapons that I've seen when I did my research. This is the best cast of supporting weapons he's had. Like you said, there's a lot of transfer receivers in. Micah Hudson's back. Offensive line brings in a couple good transfers, including Howard Sampson that played tackle at UNC. He was actually one of their bright spots last year. I can tell you firsthand, so I think he'll be a good piece for them. Defense was absolutely horrible last year. They were 120th in opponent yards per game with 453 allowed. So they completely overhauled the defense, which I love. I think Baron Morton is going to be serviceable enough with the improved weapons to compete in this Big 12. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's guns up. Shout out Patrick Mahomes. Shout out Michael Crabtree. Shout out Wes Welker. Shout out John Denver and all the notable Texas Tech alumni. This is the year. Guns up in a volatile Big 12, 10-2 conference winner, Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Jeez.
It threw me
I
for a
want to say
loop
no
there.
shot, but I don't know.
I don't know either.
Exactly.
I
And
wanna
that's
say
why
you're
I love-
wrong.
hey, and that's why I love it. And that's why I love it.
I don't hate it either. I'll come back at you, Connor. Remember last year, we did our Big 12 preview.
All too
We were
well.
having a little fun partying out in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We're like, ooh, Oklahoma State, they got all these guys, and ooh, looking great. Ooh, there's some NFL dudes on this side of the ball.
Alan Bowman's going to be
Alan
serviceable
Bowman.
enough.
Michigan
Alan
man.
Bowman's
Michigan
gonna
man.
be serviceable enough, and then all of a sudden I hear the same rhetoric coming in this year. Are you worried that we might be seeing Alan Bowman Part 2 in Lubbock?
Yes, I'm very worried about that, and that was actually my first thought when I started doing my research on this team. But you got to take a shot somewhere, and in a volatile conference where anything goes, and we've seen everything and anything in between in the last couple of years, I'm taking the Red Raiders this year. I'm betting on the talent coming in. I'm betting on what they're bringing in. I'm betting on the weapons and the cast around Baron Morton and an overhauled defense, and I'm going all in. I'm going all in. I think 10-2, at least a conference championship appearance. I think they win the conference. That's my long-ish shot, although they're only plus 550 right now, but it still feels like a long shot with this Red Raiders team.
I think every team feels like a long shot in this conference, if we're being honest. I like the shot you're taking, though. I mean, if you're like,
Thank
hey,
you.
I'm going to back the team that's putting $20 million into this roster, and for the head coach, look, Joey McGuire, he's been fine. It's a lot of 8-win, 7-win seasons for him so far during his time at Texas Tech. But if you're putting $20 million into a team, you better make the Big 12 title game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts at this point. And I'm kind of shocked he's hitching his wagon to Morton this season. But look, we'll see how it goes. I really think if they don't make the conference title game, I think they should be getting a new coach next season.
You're probably right, and I think he's gone all in. Quarterback is a position of question, which I'm surprised they didn't do something in the portal. I guess they feel good with him. Quentin Joyner in from USC, 7.5 yards a carry. Miami, Ohio receiver Reggie Virgil, he averaged 20 yards a catch last year. Tight end from Louisiana, Terrence Carter Jr., he averaged 10.5 yards a target. On paper, there's a lot of guys that are going to contribute. It's just if they mesh together. And I'm gonna go for the ride. Guns up.
No, all right. I don't
Bigger
hate
man
it.
than I.
No, all right. Let's. Where do we want to go next, Dylan? I'll let you pick.
Are there any other teams we want to talk about in depth?
Iowa State, maybe.
I was
gonna
thinking
say-
Iowa State.
I got Utah, BYU. I got those covered, obviously. If we want to talk about them, we go to Utah. We can talk about Iowa State. Where do you want to go, Dylan? I'm letting you pick. Dealer's choice.
Let's make our way over to Iowa State. Team I've been pretty high on the past couple of years.
Rocco Becht, Matt Campbell.
That was our
Losing top wide receivers. How do we feel, Dylan? Iowa State.
Yeah, lose 2 of your top 3 receivers. You get Rocco Becht back. This was a defense that I thought was going to be a lot better than they were last year, and they're returning a lot of a 75th ranked defense. Yes,
I would put a point in a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries.
that's fair. That's more than a fair caveat.
I mean, they were
You
running on
look-
fumes. I was out there playing linebacker against Arizona State in the title game.
I'll take
Do
you
you
as
have a neck brace?
linebacker.
Neck
I'll
pad
take
on?
you in at
Big neck
linebacker.
brace?
Yeah, Eichenberg. I think that's a guy that sounds like a guy that wore a neck brace. Rocco Becht, I was high on him last year. 273 yards a game last year, 10 completions over 40 yards. I think the issue here for me is you're returning all of your offensive line. The only problem is that it was the 103rd ranked pass blocking offensive line in college football last year.
Are they returning? I thought there was a couple starters gone.
Let me take a look. Hold on.
I wrote down they lost a couple O-line starters, which in the grand scheme of things, whatever, for a meh unit.
If they did lose starters, they're replacing them from players within the program. They're not
Okay.
transfers coming in. So
Yeah.
I'm looking here. You have all these guys coming in from within the program. If they aren't starters, even if they are coming in from within the program, if they weren't starting on the 103rd ranked offensive line, not really buying into them starting now. You lose 9 of your top 10 rated defensive players. I don't see a lot going here for Iowa State, which is saddening for me because I feel like the last 2 years I've been pretty high on them. This is a team, you're looking at 11-3 last year, obviously played for the Big 12 championship. Not the same kind of juice heading into this year, I don't think. I'm kind of selling on the Iowa State Cyclones this year.
I'm also selling on the Iowa State Cyclones. I'm not selling where they're going to go like 4-8 type sell. 7-5, 8-4. They're right around that win total. I don't think they're going to be competing for the conference title by any means, but I like Matt Campbell. I like Rocco Beck, but I also don't like you losing Noel and Higgins. Like those dudes were carrying for some of those games last year. I would say it would put themselves into some bad holes with their defense. Defense has to take a major step up. I'm not the biggest fan of this group, so I'm going 7-5. Slide under on the Cyclones, Connor.
I'll give a quick shout out to last year's Iowa State team. They were number 1 in the nation in penalty yards per game at 25.5 per game. That's institutional, so that'll
institutional.
Carry over. Isn't that right, Dylan?
Institutional.
Yeah, Rocco Beck's back. We loved him going into last year. That was our sleeper pick or best bet? We had him for something.
I think I had him to win the
conference winner. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, well, they're plus 1,300 this year. I think there's a big drop off after the top 4. Then it goes to Iowa State. Like you guys said, Noel and Higgins are gone at wide receiver. That's almost 170 catches, 2,400 yards, and 17 touchdowns combined. Their leading returning receiver is Carson Brown, who had 11 receptions last year. So, there's a couple guys coming in the transfer portal. Carson Hansen at running back was okay, but he wasn't elite. Defense is where I look to. They have to replace their top 3 linemen and the top 6 defensive backs from last year. The run defense was 105th in the NCAA, 190 yards a game, and this year's D-line is far less experienced. I'm out of Iowa State. Too much production lost. I'm not confident they did a good enough job to replace it. Schedule is full of toss-ups. Arkansas State the week after Iowa is not a great look for them. I think Arkansas State's dangerous in the non-conference. I got them 6-6 this year, barely making a bowl.
Yeah, and Iowa. I think the Iowa game's tough too. I think we might be.
That's gonna be grueling.
Spoiler for the Big Ten preview. Don't hate Iowa this year, but Anyhow, let's move
scary.
on. Let's go to Utah and let's go to Salt Lake City real quick. Let's go to the Utah Utes. Now, I know if you're watching on the YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button while you're there. I know I'm wearing a BYU shirt right now. I know I went to BYU. You can look behind me. Diploma. Prove it. I actually got the degree somehow, some way. I'm in on Utah this year. I am in on the Utah Utes this year.
Talk to me. Are we on the same page with why we're in on Utah? Talk to me.
I'm gonna tell you, Dylan. There's multiple things. And first off, I want to get this point across. Last season with Utah, 5-7, whatever, disaster year. Lost the locker room. Dudes are transferring out. The NIL was a nightmare. It all stemmed from Cam Rising. Cam Rising just stole millions of dollars from that program and then just walked out. Didn't have to hardly do it. He played 2 games last season and then just gets millions of dollars in NIL and just walks away. No big deal.
Sadly, Karter, he had to leave before his 30th birthday, unfortunately. He had to leave school.
True. That's true.
Won him a championship. Maybe we'd settle down with the Cam Rising talk.
Connor, from that Bill Connolly article, he talked about the Utah Utes, and this is a big reason why I also like them too. Outside of Kyle Whittingham, I love Jason Beck coming in. Devin Dampier from New Mexico also. He's an electric quarterback. I think he's going to be the most electric quarterback in this conference. But he said in this article, he said, I looked at 3 types of luck or fortune that could lead to a turnaround, good or bad, the following season and came up with ways to grade teams in each category for turnovers luck. Utah ranked 121 nationally. For close game fortune, the Utes ranked 99th. For lineup stability, they ranked 128th. Add those rankings together, and they were quite comfortably the least fortunate team in power conferences. Second worst among all FBS. This team was very unlucky last year. This team had to play Isaac Wilson, who was not ready to play quarterback. He needed a red shirt last season. The weapons were all a disaster. The locker room was lost. They couldn't get the ball to any of these dynamic receivers last season. The defense was still solid, a top 20 defense nationally at that point. They got the quarterback. They got the offensive coordinator. They've got weapons. They also have probably the best offensive lineman in the country as well. I'm all in on Utah. Kyle Whittingham's farewell season this year. I think the Utah Utes win the conference.
Oh, boy. I loved everything you just said. Here, I won't harp too much on it because I think a lot of what you said is correct. I love what you said about the luck stuff. You know how to talk sweet to me, Karter. 4 years of doing this show, you know how to talk sweet to me. Devin Dampier, however you say it, I'm going to opt for the French pronunciation. Go Devin Dampier. For the clip,
Devon.
I gotta make Devon Dampier. I gotta make sure I'm looking right for the clip. Devon Dampier. His ceiling is Heisman winner.
It is. I 100% agree.
Heisman winner, you tell me Dampier is winning Heisman A, I would say, no way. No, actually, I would say yes.
You would
way.
say okay.
I would say okay. Make my day, will you say? So, this guy, look, he had 19 rushing touchdowns last year, 1,000-yard rusher at quarterback. I don't love the one-to-one touchdown to interception ratio he had at New Mexico. He had 12 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But you bring Ryan Davison with you at wide receiver, a transfer from New Mexico, 73 PFF rating. Karter, I love what you said. I love Devin Dampier. This is a guy that has made me tons of money at New Mexico last year. Remember, they had a win total of 1.5. I think they won 2 or 3 games. Thank you very much. I love it. I love this team. Devin Dampier, I'm in on. Heisman ceiling. The defense, the 50th rated defensive unit last year, they don't return a bunch of those starters. I'm seeing 10 of 22. I'm liking this Utah team. I don't know if they're not my conference winner, but I love them.
New Mexico won 5 games, and also on top of that, he had to take those risks on offense because you knew if he gave the ball back, the other team was scoring. This is the worst defense in college football last year in New Mexico.
Yep.
So he had to take those chances. He doesn't necessarily have to, and plus his offensive coordinator is coming with him, Jason Beck, who is an elite offensive coordinator. He's going to be a head coach, I bet, in the Big 12 in a year or two. It's a perfect marriage, in my opinion. And also, you're betting on Kyle Whittingham. He's had one bad season in the last, 15, 20 years. I'm backing that every single time. They're going to bring in a great defense. It's tough to play in Utah. Their schedule isn't that bad, especially the non-con. They got to play Nico week 1, and then you play non-conference games, but it's Cal Poly and Wyoming. Not too worried about that. I think this Utah team goes 10-2, and I think they win the Big 12.
Connor, before you go real quick, because I have a relevant point to hit on, Karter. You said that about his time at New Mexico and the interceptions, which I think is a fair point. When you know your defense is that bad, you feel like you own some of having to make up for that as a quarterback in that system. Do you think that affects any of the upside on his rushing? Like, maybe if they turn, I don't want to say they turn him into a conservative player, but if you get a little too comfortable, maybe that drove him a little bit. The interception numbers might come down, but maybe so do the rushing numbers. Any thought about that?
I think that's a fair point, but at the same time, you've got to turn it down a notch because you can't have a 1-to-1 ratio in college football. You're not going to win a lot of games that way. Yeah. But at the same time, I just think he's such a good quarterback. I think he's going to take that next step. And, yeah, he had to take a lot of risks last year, and it made his stats maybe look a little better in some areas, a little worse in the turnover areas. I'm okay with it. It's a risk I'm willing to take. If you're taking Dampier for Heisman, I don't hate it. I think he's 20-1 right now, 40-1, something like that.
Connor, talk nice to us. What are we thinking about Utah?
We're pretty much in lockstep with these last couple teams we've talked about. I love Utah this year. The MO for Utah over the last couple of years has been inconsistency, especially at the quarterback position. 6 different quarterbacks have thrown at least 30 passes for Utah over the last 2 seasons, and they are 2-7 in their last 9 games decided by 1 score. I think that's a lot of regression there. You mentioned the luck stats. I had those written down as well. All that points to Utah getting back to where we're used to them being this year. And I think it's going to be more offense than defense this year. You guys touched on the quarterback, Devin Dampier, a lot. I don't need to go too much into that. Their top 6 O-linemen from last year back, I would rather have transfers at skill positions than the O-line. I love that consistency and that, the continuity as a unit at the O-line. Bring in the new weapons, bring in the new quarterback, bring in the 3 new running backs that I think are playable right away. I think this offense is going to be great. I think it's going to be electric. The defense won't be as strong as we're used to, but I think the offensive improvement should offset that. I'm in on Utah. I wrote down over 7.5. I got them 9-3. I wouldn't be shocked if they made the conference title game. I'm still going to pick Texas Tech as my conference winner, but Utah would not surprise me if they're there as well. So I love Utah this year.
I love it. You want to do picks or do you want to go to BYU?
Let's do BYU. Come on.
All right, let's do BYU. Their win total's at 6.5 right now. It's -120 on FanDuel. Red Slav out. Some other guys out from last season. I don't need to bore everybody with the names. What I'm being told right now is McKay Hill said is, hey, Dylan, you're not going to like this. He's a shorter guy. Might be shorter than Bryce Young.
No way. Is that possible?
Oh, man.
We're talking Kyler Murray short.
Oh, oh brother.
McKay Hill said is taking first-team snaps as of now. That could very well change. I was told from people inside the building, multiple people, that it is 50-50 whether it's him or Bear Bachmeier. I'm rooting for Bear Bachmeier because
true freshman, right?
Yep, and how do you not start a guy named Bear Bachmeier at that point? Shout out Hank Bachmeier, college football legend.
Is that his brother?
Yeah, or
Okay.
cousin, something like that.
Yeah. Oh.
Last season, I was extremely out on this BYU team. I was like, this team's going to stink. And throughout the season, when they kept winning games, I came on this podcast and I said, I don't believe in this team. They still stink. And that's why I'm not that concerned about the Retzlaff departure. I don't think he was that important of a part of this team. It was the defense. This was the best defense in the Big 12 last season, and almost all of these dudes are returning. They add to that as well. The secondary I have a little bit of concerns about, but this front seven is elite. It might be the best in the Big 12 next season. They're going to be fine there, and as long as they have a conservative quarterback running the show, I think they win 7 games. I actually think, spoiler alert, I think they're my best bet going into this next season because you look at the non-con for them, holy stink, this thing is gross. Portland State, Stanford, ECU, then you roll into at Colorado, home West Virginia, at Arizona. You could easily start the season 6-0 at that point. And then if you just win those first 3 conference games, you only got to win 4 in the Big 12 at that point, go 4-5. I like this BYU team a lot going into this season, and it's about the defense. Not as concerned about the offense. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be slightly worse than last season. The defense is all you got to know.
You took the words out of my mouth of the schedule. I wrote down 6-0 going into Utah ? They could be 6-0 going into the Utah game.
I think that's a college game day potential. I think both teams could be 6-0 going into that game, and they have the holy war with college game day or Big Noon, whoever has that game.
That'd be a lot of fun. But I think this BYU team this year especially is going to need to lean on that defense. They had 29 takeaways forced last year. They were 9-0 when they forced 2 or more turnovers. The linebacking group is great this year, probably the best in the conference like you touched on. LJ Martin at running back I think is solid. He had over 5 yards of carry last year. I think he's serviceable. The O-line has 5 returnees with 2 or more starts. I am going to choose to believe in this BYU team, and I'm going to choose to trust head coach Kalani Sitake. I think he's going to make the most of this group. They're over under 6.5. I got them 7-5, slide over, but that non-con, like you touched on, there's a real chance they're 6-0 to start the year.
They honestly should be.
They should be.
I bet they're going to be favored in all 6 of those games at that point. And I am concerned about some of the departures, like on offense with Jake Retzlaff, not as much, but some on the O-line with Caleb Etienne, and then you got another wide receiver in Keelan Marion who went to Miami. Yeah. That was a big
Chase
loss.
Roberts is back, though, right? He's pretty good.
You got Chase Roberts, Parker Kingston, JoJo Phillips, and Puka Nakua's little brother. Not a bad wide receiving core. Tiger Bachmeier as well. He's on the receiving core as well.
Bachmeier.
Michigan man, O-line, Andrew Gentry in. Dylan, when he was on his LDS mission in Orem, Harbaugh flew to Orem, Utah to go eat at a Brazilian steakhouse with him to make sure to recruit him and get him to Michigan.
Do we know what steakhouse it was? That's a big differentiator here.
Fogo
de Chao.
It's a local Utah one. It's called Tucano's.
Oh, okay. Ooh, wow, that sounds amazing.
Classy,
that sounds amazing. I have a question here. So we're talking about are you, Carter? Did you say that they're returning a lot of their defense?
A lot. Their best players on defense are coming back outside of Tyler Batty.
I am seeing on CBS 3 returning defensive starters: Isaiah Glasker, Jack Kelly, and Tanner Wall.
And that's the main people you need to know about.
Okay, all right.
And they also bring in Keanu Tamavasa. There's some injuries on some of the transfer portal guys coming in, but they should be playing by conference play. I'm in on this BYU team. I'm not in on them being a Big 12 title contender or anything, but I think 7-5 is extremely doable. I just think it's a complete unknown at the quarterback. Shout out Bob Dylan.
Complete Unknown, great movie. Indifferent. I'm letting you run play on the BYU talk. I went my rounds with BYU fans last year with them being fake. So,
and then you're calling us Epstein Island and Provo. What's going on?
Yeah. Oh.
Huh? No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
Just said I didn't say that. I
you
said
did.
That's what I've heard. People have been saying that. I was just curious.
Name
multiple
one
sources.
Is it illegal to ask questions?
Name one person that said that.
Trump's America. It's illegal to ask questions now. Sorry. Just asking.
I know you like Jake Retzlaff PFF grade from last season, but I think it was fake. Think it was fake.
Is he going to start at Tulane this year real quick?
I don't know. They have like 9
is he going
quarterbacks.
to play? Yeah, I don't know what's
TJ
going
Finley's technically on the roster at this point, but then he stole a
TJ
car.
Finley. Oh my god.
There's weird stuff going on.
Finley.
Let me put a bow on BYU real quick. Win total over, no brainer. The schedule is a piece of cake, like I mentioned before. Non-con 3-0, easy. Conference play should start off 3-0 as well, 6-0. All you got to do is win one game after that. At that point, give it to me. Playing at BYU at night. All these games are going to be 8:30 Mountain Time kickoffs. Huge advantage for BYU. Love BYU. Love this defense going into next season. 7-5, 8-4. Lock it in. All right.
Disadvantage for you on the Eastern time.
Brutal for the Eastern time. Brutal. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. But let's do picks, and then we'll breeze through some of the rest of these teams. Let's start off. Connor, who is your most overrated team in the Big 12 this season?
Well, it's one we've already touched on. That's the Arizona State Sun Devils. We don't have to dive too far deep into detail. I just think Sam Leavitt takes a step back from what we saw last year because he's going to be asked to do so much more. And that, that void, that 180 yards per game void of Cam Scatterbo, I think is going to be felt in ripples throughout that entire offense. And I don't think they're going to be able to play the same brand of football. I think that translates to not a lot of success. I'm out on Arizona State.
I'm out on Arizona State as well. They're obviously my pick. You mentioned everything. Scatterbo loss, I think, is a lot bigger than people are making it out to be. Cough, cough, Dylan.
Wow. I'm going Kansas State overrated solely because we look at here. We have 3 teams with 8.5 win total. Kansas State, Texas Tech, Arizona State. Texas Tech wouldn't surprise me because of all of their transfers. I'm high on Arizona State. I don't think Kansas State is going to be awful, but to be put into that group with those 2 other teams, I think it's disingenuous. I would say Kansas State's my overrated team.
Sleeper. Now, do we want to make this the exercise, or do we want to separate these? I think we separate them.
Separate them.
I think we separate them. And then we make the exercise we wanted to do coming into this, that we're going to have one team that's a super, super long shot that we ride all season together to win the Big 12. One of these random BS teams at the bottom that the Arizona States of the world, even BYU from last year. You could even say Iowa State from last year as well. They were in the title game. So, but your underrated / sleeper team coming into this year doesn't have to be the same one we end up agreeing on to bet on.
You want me to go first here?
Yep.
My sleeper, my underrated team in this Big 12 conference is a team that was 128th in the NCAA in yards last year. They were second to last in points per game. 0.1 better than Kent State.
Shout out
last
to Houston
year.
Cougars.
Shout out the Houston Cougars. Connor Wegman in from Texas A&M. He's only played 15 games in 3 seasons. Injuries, bad play when he has been healthy, but just no consistency there. He's a former top 30 recruit. The talent is clearly there. I think at tight end, Tanner Koziol is going to be a great addition. 4 new O-line starters, which I personally love. They've got Dean Connor in from Rice, who's a great runner and pass catcher, 900 receiving yards last year. Defense is going to be a lot of transfers. They seem solid on paper, but I'll be honest, a lot of unknowns. It's really the schedule that got me excited about this Houston team. I don't want to read the schedules and do the whole thing. Stephen F. Austin, that's a winnable game. Rice, that's win. Colorado, that's winnable at home. At Oregon State, I think that's winnable. That's 4. That could be 4-0 right there.
That's Malik
Texas
Murphy
Tech
territory, though.
Texas Tech, probably a loss. Oklahoma State's probably going to be bad, 5. Arizona, 6. West Virginia, UCF, 7, 8. That's potentially 8 wins right there. They're not going to win them all. That's 8, 9 winnable games. They're
I'm hearing 12-0 from you.
They're probably favored in 6 or 7 of those. If Connor Wegman stays healthy.
Favored might be a stretch.
Favored.
They could be favored in 6 of those.
Favored might be a stretch.
I bet they're favored in 6 games
All
going
right.
into this year. If Wegman stays healthy, I think the expectations are basically gone. I think he's going to play loose. Talent's there. This is my sleeper in the Big 12, Houston Cougars.
14 points per game last season. That offense
Connor.
was
Awful.
so bad. Dylan.
I'm open. Top of the key. Connor, I'm open.
Pass.
It's Houston. Houston's the sleeper here. I mean,
Let's go, Dylan.
this is it, right? You get Connor Wegman that comes in. You want to look at the offense. You fix that, right? You also want to take a look at the defense. I mean, this was the 5th worst pass rushing unit in college football last year. That is something that they made a point to address in the transfer portal. You get Edge Eddie Walls, 80 rated PFF. Khalil Lafau, saying that wrong. Defensive line, 75.5 rating. And Jesus Machado, 72.5 rated linebacker transferring in. I understand the offense wasn't good. The defense was average, but their pass rush was awful. And they went out and they tried to make it better. And there's no chance it gets worse. There's no chance it gets worse. If Wegman stays healthy, I think we're going to see a step up from him. Love this Houston team. Love this Houston team.
I love it. I love that. Speaking my language, Dylan. It's crazy that we all three have the
Carter's
same.
dead down there.
I know Carter's going to say the same thing.
I think my sleeper's going to be Texas Tech.
No, it's going to be Houston. He's already got it queued up. I see his face.
Do you need a pass? Do you need a pass, Carter? ISO.
We're going to Still. I'm just kidding. No, we're not going to Stillwater. No, we're done with Stillwater. Mike Gundy. Nah. Like, let's get Ubers in Stillwater.
I'm a man. I'm 40. 50, man,
yeah.
Brian.
I had 2 written down, and it has to be the Houston Cougars. It was Houston, and my other one I had written down, I think it was a little unfair. It was Kansas solely because of Jalen Daniels. So if he could ever, I'm just going to buy
committed on Jalen Daniels by now.
He's my Spencer Rattler. Where if you like Spencer Rattler, you just fell into that hole every single year. The Tyler Van Dykes of the world. He has entered that category now. I was going to have them. It's got to be the Houston Cougars. Connor Wegman. I don't necessarily love him, but it can't be worse than last year. It has to be better than last year. Willie Fritz, I think, is actually a really good coach. Close games last season. The offense was just so effing bad. A lot of transfers. Connor, the schedule is the sole reason I wrote them down. That was it.
It's an easy schedule. And for a team like Houston, their win total is 5.5, heavily juiced, but 5.5.
It is heavily juiced.
I'm telling you, there's 7, maybe 8 wins on that schedule. They might go 8-4.
31-1 is what I'm seeing. That's what I have right here on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. 31-1 is what we're riding this year. This is a Houston Cougars podcast because we need to start sending the propaganda out right now. We're going to get this number down to like plus 2,000 by kickoff. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what we're going to do.
We're going to get this number down to like plus 2,900.
Yeah, I don't even feel
we'll
like
check
going
tomorrow. It'll be 40-1.
It'll be 40-1. Yeah, we're just moving odds in the other way, and they're like, this Kansas State team, they're minus 200 now all of a sudden. Anything else on this Houston team? I mean, I feel like you guys nailed it.
Exciting.
Cautious optimism. Yeah, I'm excited. I think this is a good long shot bet in this conference.
I do too, man. I do too. You look at the transfers coming into. It's tough with some of these transfers, though. Also, new coordinators coming in as well. But you look at the transfers coming in, and you're just like, it just can't be worse. It physically cannot be worse on the offensive end, especially because you'd watch those Houston games. You go, oh, they physically can't pass the ball. I mean, it was worse than DJU. That's how bad it was last season. But anyhow, Houston's our team. That's my sleeper as well. Best bet in the conference. I'll start off first. I already went with this one. Give me BYU over 6.5 wins. This is another schedule play as well. They should be 6-0 going into the Utah game this year. Easy non-con. Easy first 3 games of the Big 12. Playing in Provo at night's a huge advantage. Almost all their games are going to be Provo at night. And I believe in Jay Hill in this defense. I believe in the new transfers they got in. Quarterback position, I don't think is necessarily going to be that big of a problem with the drop-off from Retzlaff. Give me BYU over 6.5 wins. Dylan.
For my best bet, I am going to go to the 2016 national champions, University of Central Florida, under 5.5 wins. You're giving me an opportunity to fade Alex Grinch as a defensive coordinator? Yeah, I'll take that. 5.5 games. I'm looking at their schedule. Very good chance they lose week 1 to Jacksonville State. Very good chance. And from there, the tone is set for the rest of the year. This defense is going to be awful. You got to keep in mind, this is a guy, he ran the 2018 Ohio State defense. Awful defense. Awful defense. I'm going to find a way to jab Buckeyes any way I can. He ran the 2022 USC defense. Awful. 2019 to 21 Oklahoma defense. Awful. You're giving me an opportunity to fade an Alex Grinch defense. I am not going to pass it up. I think this is my favorite bet of the conference is UCF under 5.5 wins.
Absolutely love that. The Alex Grinch piece is all you need to know. And then also Scott Frost, he had some weird off-season comments. He was talking about stuff saying, Nebraska was the wrong job and all this stuff.
Scott Frost, bad guy? Did he have a scandal or something?
No.
No?
don't think
Maybe
so.
I must be thinking of someone else.
Jack Frost.
I was gonna say Jack Frost.
Oh, big cold guy. Big cold guy.
Are you worried that, it might be a little revival in Central Florida with Scott Frost coming back?
No.
No.
Not a 6-win revival. Not a 500 revival. Like
You're
one of
telling
the-
me you don't believe in Taven Jackson?
Who?
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I
all
looked
you
at,
need to know. Who?
I looked at the notable transfers coming into this program. I was like,
I'll be
seeing,
honest. Yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I wrote down 3-9 for UCF. I picked them to finish last in this conference.
That means they're going to win it though.
They got
If only they would have
UNC
done the poll.
They got UNC after a bye at home, so that might be a win. Who knows?
Yeah, must win for Belichick.
There you go.
You think Jordan's going to get a headset for that game? She'll probably get.
I need to see her on the
you'll probably-
sideline.
She'll be in the booth.
I'll see her. Yeah, they'll pan to her in the booth. She's got the Disney ears on.
Do they cut to her as much as Taylor Swift? Maybe
No.
half as much. They're probably not allowed
No.
to. Actually, there's
I
probably
don't know.
some
I don't think
contract
they'll
they're
let-
not allowed to.
Yeah, they won't let him. I don't think.
Yeah, because I feel like it's Taylor Swift. Well, there wasn't a negative connotation behind it. It was honestly
Right.
positive publicity.
Yeah.
This would be negative continually going.
So, we're not gonna get-
over under 4 pans a game to her.
We're not gonna get the graphic of they show Taylor Swift Grammy winning artist and this will be #1 hits. We're not gonna get the Jordan Hudson background graphic of grew up here and met Bill Belichick on an airplane, quote unquote.
Sex toy owner.
Yeah.
No.
The store
Real estate
owner.
portfolio.
The real estate portfolio.
Oh, there goes the monetization.
Oh,
we
man.
can cut that out. Anyhow, Connor, best bet.
Yep. Yeah, this is a weird one. This is a team that not a lot of people are going to talk about. I'm going under 6.5 for the Cincinnati Bearcats as my best bet for this conference. Brendan Sorsby, he's not bad. He's average in this conference, I think. Wide receiver transfers coming in from Texas A&M, okay, Colorado State, Charleston Southern, and Lindenwood. That's their receiving core this year. Not just in the smaller schools, but not the best set of weapons in Cincinnati this year. They lose their leading rusher and their top 4 wide receivers, and 4 of their 5 starting defensive backs are gone. Pass defense is going to be a weak spot this year. Their win total is 6.5. Give me the under 6.5. I've got them 5-7, 4-8 territory.
This feels like Scott Satterfield's out after this season too.
They're just a meh team. We're not. I don't feel like this is the sleeper team that's going to be at the top of the Big 12. I don't think it's going to be Cincinnati.
I don't think so either. There is nothing that excites you about this Cincinnati team going into next season, Dylan. Sounds like you got a lot on Cincinnati.
People are. Yeah, I mean, I have my notes here. I'm trying to think of something exciting. A lot of. There's a casino down there. That's about all I got. Skyline. I don't know.
Not a lot going on.
Not
I
a
agree with
Cincinnati
Connor.
podcast.
Not a Cincinnati podcast. Well, I didn't get the memo on going under, so screw
That's
you
on me.
guys for not letting me know. Anyhow, all right, conference winner. I already spoiled mine. I'm going Utah. Utah's going to win this conference. Kyle Whittingham, farewell tour season. He's going to win it in his last year as the head coach of Utah. You got Jason Beck coming in from New Mexico, Devin Dampier. I think it's going to work out so much better than the Cam Rising disaster of last season. A lot of new faces coming in. The schedule lines up great. Playing in Utah is brutal. They're going to be great this year. 10-2 Utah. They're going to win this conference. Connor.
Conference winner for me, guns up, Texas Tech Red Raiders. I think they're plus 550 or plus 600 on some books to win the Big 12. I think Baron Morton's going to be enough, serviceable enough with improved weapons around him to compete in this conference. Complete overhaul of an awful defense. Non-cons easy with Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State. That should be 3-0. And 5 Big 12 games against non-bowl teams from last year, which in this conference doesn't mean a lot, but it's something. So give me Texas Tech to win the conference.
Dylan.
Transfer portal, guns up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I'm going to Arizona State. And we just took 3 of the 4 teams that are listed, actually 5 teams that are listed at 600 to 700 odds. Listen, the continuity, I love it. Love what Dillingham's doing. I think Levitt is going to be great. I don't think the hole left by Scadaboo is going to be as big as people want it to be or think it is going to be. I'm going to Arizona State. But here's what I'll say in my defense. Carter, I like what you said about Utah. I want it on record, if Utah wins, that I
No.
will claim the Big 12.
Whoa.
No.
Well,
No one agrees.
Check the cup. Check the cup.
No one agrees. Yeah, I'm the only one acting like a real unbiased Big J journalist here because I'm sitting here wearing a BYU shirt, went to BYU, and I'm showing how unbiased I am by picking Utah to win this conference.
Or this is the most textbook, in-depth reverse jinx we've ever seen.
Or I just don't actually care that much about the BYU-Utah rivalry.
No, there goes our demonetization.
Fake fan. Fake fan.
I'm kidding. I mean, it's basketball guy. Anyhow.
It's no ECU NC State, but it'll do.
I'm seeing, why am I seeing quotes about that nonstop? Dave Dorn's like, we're going to beat the crap out of him.
He can't get over it. He can't get over it. It's fucking ECU. Like, what are we doing?
And then ECU's like, I don't know, guys. Like, it's a game. It's just another game. You know, we'll go out there. We'll play hard. And Dave Dorn's like, we're going to beat the crap out of the Pirates. And we're going 7-5. We're going to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
We will not have a 10-win season.
Look, let's quickly go through these other teams in this conference.
Yep.
Baylor, they're at plus 650 right now. A lot of sneaky love for this Baylor team. Sorry, Robertson's back. Dave Aranda avoided the hot seat last season, which I was shocked by. Dylan, any thoughts on this Baylor team quickly?
Yeah, I actually like this Baylor team. Sawyer Robertson's only gotten better every year he's been in college football, that he's been in the league. You look at a defense that lacks continuity, but they were bad. They were the 23rd worst defensive unit. You bring in Walker White, shout out Breaking Bad. Even though it's Walter White, shout out Walker White. I am the one who knocks. I am the one who backs up Sawyer Robertson. You get a couple good defensive transfers in here. I don't hate this Baylor team. Do I think that they should be in this group of 5 teams that is amongst the top? No, maybe, I don't know. But I do like this Baylor team. I think they're going to be better than what people think.
I think they're 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, I don't mind spending a little bit of time on them just because they are, plus 600 to win the Big 12. Yeah, I think you're right about Sawyer Robertson. They got both running backs back, Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass. They were 1,700 rush yards and 18 scores last year combined. Top 2 wide receivers are back. 4 O-line starters are back. Pretty cool stat that I saw. Baylor gained 20-plus yards on 8.7% of their snaps. That was 10th in the nation. And they gained 0 or fewer on just 27.7%. That was top 20 in the nation as well. Not bad for the Baylor offense. Defense, they lost 3 games while scoring 28 or more points. That was the weak point last year. I think this is probably an 8-4 team. I think they're going to be, near the mid-top of that Big 12. I don't think they're going to bottom out or anything, but I also don't think they're going to win it. So I think that mid-tier 8-4 is going to be fine. I think they're top 10 in returning production as well. Like they're 9th in the country. So a little continuity there.
Yeah, love it. TCU,
Auburn and SMU to start the season is tough for Baylor. That's
tough.
the last thing I'll say.
Yeah, don't like that. TCU, plus 800. Connor, you got a date with TCU. Start of the season, Bill Belichick, debut game. Josh Hoover. There is also, I'm on Big 12 Twitter quite a bit. There's a lot of love for this TCU team coming into the year, too. Only 8-1 in this conference. People love Hoover. Can Sonny Dykes, have some kind of revival back to the 22 season? Even though that might have been the luckiest season I've ever seen in my freaking life. I was out on that TCU team week after week after week, and they proved me wrong every single time. But I think this TCU team's okay. Nothing crazy.
I agree. I think they're right in that same tier with Baylor. They're okay. Josh Hoover, almost 4,000 yards last year, 27 scores, 10 picks. This offense, a few O-line starters are back, but they lose 4 of their top 5 pass catchers and the leading rusher from last year. They're going to rely heavily on transfer wide receivers, unproven running backs. I don't love that. Defense returns 11 players with at least 200-plus snaps, but if you look at the numbers, a lot of the big playmakers from last year are gone. So I don't love that for the defense.
I think their season honestly hinges on game 1.
Do you now? Do you actually?
I actually do, because let's go back. Was it 2 years ago? Riley Leonard and that Duke team when they took down Clemson week 1. That was a big statement game right there.
It was.
It propelled Duke into a great season, and Clemson kind of stunk that season. TCU UNC, I think, could be a very similar outcome
For either side.
For both teams, because I think we could see. Let's say TCU goes in there, they whoop UNC. UNC's leading every talk show that Tuesday morning.
Oh, yeah. They're probably leading either way, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably. But especially if they get blown out, I mean, that's going to be the talk of everything.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
going to
be a weird
TCU.
game. That's going to be a weird game.
That's a tough non-con for TCU, though. You got at UNC, SMU.
Monday night, too.
Depending on how you feel about them. They get a bye after that, though. Then it's Arizona State, Colorado sandwich in between. At Arizona State and at Kansas State could be tough. I don't know. I'm going to go 7-5 for TCU.
Yeah, me too.
Dylan?
I'm a little bit higher on this TCU team than you guys. I loved what Josh Hoover did. I'm not going to reiterate those stats you said, Connor. I'm looking at wide receiver transfer in Jordan Dwyer, 88.4 rating at Idaho last year, almost 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns. If we were going to be so quick to Idaho staying up with Oregon, we got to give them their credit here.
The Vandals.
Got to give them their credit. The Vandals, baby. Listen, I think this is going to be a good team. Kind of where you guys were saying, 7-8 wins. It seems like it's in the cards. This was a defense last year that allowed the second fewest yards per play in the Big 12, but you do lose some of those playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. A little bit concerning. But I would say I'm higher on this TCU team than most. I think Hoover, this is probably a coming out party for him.
Okay, I love it. Kansas, real quick. Kansas is 13-1, 15-1 to win the conference right now. Jalen Daniels is back for his senior season. Lance Leipold, great coach. They just lose so much around that was actually special with Devin Neal and multiple other guys going to the NFL. They got a basically new offensive line coming in. I don't love this Kansas team coming into this year. Like I said him as the sleeper before. That was solely because I love Jalen Daniels and I think he can be that good of a quarterback. But when you really dive into things, I think it could be a tough year for Kansas. And 8-4, 7-5, they're just in that same range for me as Baylor, TCU.
How the hell is Jalen Daniels only 22? And he's in his sixth year of college football. I think he started a few games when he was 17, but how is he only 22? I was ready to put him in the Cam Rising class. Like, what are we doing here? Triple senior season. Yeah, third offense coordinator in 3 years. Only 2 other offensive starters returned besides Jalen Daniels. I don't think they're going back to 2022 version of this team. I'm going under. I got them 6-6. I think they're just the epitome of average this year.
Dylan?
Yeah, this is a team for me. Meh. You look at some of the transfers in. You got Bryson Canty coming in from Columbia, not a bad wide receiver, and I'm going to mess this name up. Bengali Kamara.
Great.
Bengali Kamara at linebacker. He was South Carolina, 84.4 rating. I don't know if that's enough to get this team over the hump. I love Jalen Daniels, very fun to watch, but kind of middling on this Kansas team.
Depending on how you feel about these teams coming into this year, Kansas could very well start 5-1 and finish the season very badly. They start off Fresno, Wagner. At Missouri's probably a loss. Then West Virginia, Cincy, UCF feels 5-1 at least. So,
yeah.
But then a lot of these Big 12 teams, it's just a roller coaster ride with the Big 12 with all these teams. So, anyhow, let's move on. We talked about BYU, we talked about Iowa State, Cincinnati. Connor, you briefly touched on. I don't think we need to dive in more to there. Houston, they're 31-1 on FanDuel right now. They're our pick to win the Big 12 as our long shot sleeper bet. Colorado, 32-1. Dion had his press conference today that he is coming back after a battle with bladder cancer, apparently. Dylan?
Bladder cancer, full bladder removal, it said. Fun fact, Deion Sanders has had 14 surgeries dating back to 2021.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this Colorado team now?
Yeah, I'm not going to do the joke. I love Caden Salter. This is a guy at
Do
Liberty.
you?
I do. Very exciting. He fits the Colorado mold of whatever they're doing over there.
Turning the ball over?
Or 4,700 pass yards, 1,800 rush yards. Like, what are we doing here? He was an exciting guy at Liberty. I don't think it's going to be enough, but this is a Colorado team. Is 9-4 in the cards again? I don't think so. But I will get very excited about watching Salter play.
Let's also go. The 4,700 yards is very, very generous. When last season it was under 1,900, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He did have almost 600 rushing, so I'll give you that. But I just don't. I just think the holes of Travis Hunter, who was your best player on this team on defense, and probably your best player on offense, and you lose Shedeur Sanders, who, look, that offensive line stunk, and he was playing out of his mind in some of those games. They had barely were winning games last year. I'm out on this Colorado team, and I think this is another Game 1 Georgia Tech Colorado. It is going to be a fascinating watch on Week 1 because I think Georgia Tech, they're 4.5-point favorites right now going into that game. I think they absolutely whoop Colorado and run all over them, and it could be a bloodbath.
They're only 4.5-point favorites. Spoiler, there's my Week 1 parlay pick, Georgia Tech.
I might lock that in right now.
Yeah, Georgia Tech or the over, honestly,
team
for the Week 1
total,
parlay.
everything.
Yeah.
Haynes King first touchdown.
Yeah. Colorado.
I texted someone today. I texted Chase today. I said he was texting me about football or something, and I said, man, you know what? I cannot wait to lose money on Avery Johnson first touchdown against Iowa State in Dublin on August 23rd. I'm ready.
Oh, that's going to be great. Lock it in.
Lock it in. Colorado unders all around.
Yeah, I'll be brief here. You guys talked about Salter. 4 new offensive line starters this year. Honestly, probably for the best. The number one note I wrote down is the offense is just going to look different with a rushing quarterback like this. Shadur Sanders, for how good he was, he just didn't run around a lot. It's going to be a lot different this year. The defense improved a ton going into last year from 2023, but it's going to be mostly new again this year. They have one big D-line transfer, Jaheim Otis from Alabama, to be pretty good. Offense is going to be more balanced, but my expectations are still low. I've got the under 5.5. I got them 4-8 this year, unfortunately.
I kind of agree. Arizona, they're 40-1 coming in right now. Brent Brennan had a very disappointing first year at Arizona, had a very, very good roster with Tetero McMillan, Noah Fafita. That was supposed to be this dynamite offense and everything. And that team flat out quit on him last season. They did not give a crap. They were getting destroyed in a lot of these games last season. And now a lot of the good players leave. Why am I supposed to believe in this Arizona team all of a sudden? I like Noah Fafita. Don't love Noah Fafita.
Ditto.
What am I supposed to love? This defense isn't going to be good.
Yeah, no.
They lost their best players on defense. They lose multiple guys on offense, NFL guys all around, and they went 4-8 last season. I just think Brent Brennan's going to get sent out of town already. I think it's going to be a quick tenure in Arizona.
Yeah, and Fafita's got the talent. Like, the talent's clearly there. It's just what's around him. If he can't do it with Tet McMillan and some better weapons around him, what's he going to do this year? They got the running back from Texas State in, Ismail Mahdi, I think is how you say his name. He's a pretty good addition. A lot of new O-line faces and a lot of FCS to FBS transfers, which historically doesn't really hit at a high rate. I don't know. I've got them 5-7, 6-6. I've got them right dead temple of mediocrity. Maybe the talent at quarterback can help them a little bit. Probably 5-7 though.
Dylan, anything on Arizona?
Everything you guys said. Hard to trust it losing McMillan.
West Virginia, Rich Rod is back. What do we think about this West Virginia team?
They are very much in the same boat of Texas Tech as I don't know, because CBS has them returning 3 offensive starters and no defensive starters. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I've suffered through Rich Rod days as a Michigan fan. I'm going to opt out of watching Rich Rod football this season.
You're hitting the portal.
Yeah, I'm hitting the portal. I'm going to be opting out. I'm going to be taking my talents elsewhere. They pay me enough, man.
I'll be quick here. Running back room is solid. Jaheim White's back, and they're bringing in 3 1,000-yard rushers from smaller schools. One of them's got to be good, right? So, I mean, you're just playing the numbers game at that point. I think the running back room will be fine. Quarterback is who? Nico Martial, who's not, I mean, meh. He's meh, right? Bottom echelon of the Big 12, I'd say. They were last in the Big 12 last year, allowing 415 yards a game and 32 points per game on defense. So, very poopy. A lot of new faces on defense, but that's probably a good thing. I'm going to go under 5.5. I get 5-7 for West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm with Dylan. It's a complete toss-up. They could be a bowl team. They could also be 2-10, and I wouldn't be shocked.
52 transfers in this year.
That's crazy,
Jeez, dude.
Carolina,
how many guys want to go play football for Rich Rodriguez?
Not transfers, but just new people on the team. I guess that includes walk-ons. Carolina has 71 this year, by the way. So,
well, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Belichick.
Golly.
Not just transfers. That's just new faces in general, but yeah, it's a ton.
Let's go to Stillwater. This team burned me last season. Burned us, Connor. They don't even know who their quarterback is at this point. It looks like he's probably going to be Zane Flores. Hasn't
Zero
played a snap.
experience. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're getting zero experience. Mike Gundy said in the Big 12 media days, he was like, "This is the first time we've bought a roster." I don't know what you bought, but did you get it at Five Below? I mean, what
Did you take the receipt home with you? You better have.
I think he went to the dollar store and was like, $1.29. I don't know. That's a little steep. Yeah, I'm not big on this Oklahoma State team. The only thing I will say about Oklahoma State is they fall into the NC State category of, look, the second they have expectations, steer clear. The second nobody believes in Mike Gundy and his teams, they are randomly winning football games. Now, do I think they make a bowl game? Probably not, but it's another just up in the air. Flip a coin. Go for it.
Yeah. Dylan's got the goggles on. What's going on here?
Because you don't want to listen to this.
I'm opting out of the Oklahoma State talk.
I'll give one thing here. Defense should probably be the strong point, which is honestly not saying a lot at all. They allowed, I think it's like the third time I've said the name Kent State in this show. Only Kent State allowed more yards per game than Oklahoma State last year. They allowed 500 yards a game. That should be better than last year. But look, I'm going to take a gamble on Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State with no expectations. I'm going to go over 5.5 plus money. I think they make a bowl.
0-9 in the Big 12 last season.
Carter, we were so high on this.
I had them winning this conference.
Oh, man. And it was just immediately bad, too. Immediately bad.
They got to play at Oregon in the non-con.
Give me 6-6 for Oklahoma State. Might even shock the world and go 7-5. Who knows?
All right, Dylan's opting out of this. And then last but most certainly least, UCF. We already talked about them briefly.
Yeah, we're good.
We're all out. All out.
Out. Opting out.
Give me fading Alex Grinch, please.
All right, that's a Big 12 preview. Anything else, fellas?
Go Houston. I love it. I love the uncertainty of that pick.
We're in lockstep this year, guys. This
We
is
kinda
dangerous.
are.
This is dangerous.
Yeah.
What if this is the year that we just get everything right, though? And people are like, holy crap, listen to their preview. They were dead on.
This could be our year. I
could
never
be
thought of that. What if this is our year?
It could be our year. But anyhow, that's it from us. Download SeatGeek. Use code KarterKast. $20 off your first purchase. $50 minimum purchase required. At Wilkerson A. Dillon. At Connor_Sparrow. At Karter PA. At KarterKast on everything. Like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And check out all of our other previews. The ACC preview is out right now. And shortly we're going to have the Big Ten and SEC previews. Those are going to be doozies, fellas. Those are going to be long ones. We'll get through those. Cannot wait. Make sure to check them out. And we'll see you guys in part 2 of this podcast. A quick little Happy Gilmore review. We'll see you all over there.